Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching us every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 o'clock Central Time. You can find us several different ways, icradio.media. You can also find us on television, channel 182, on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, syndicated, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. We're so proud to be part of that team right there as well. If you have suggestions for shows, you can go ahead and send one to Donna at donnasedge.com, and I'll be glad to do the research for you. One was sent by Madge, and Madge was really interested in my take on driving at night. How do you drive at night? How is it safely? She said she's getting a little bit older and her eyesight is not as good as it used to be. But Madge, you know what? The same deal right here. I'm getting older too. My eyesight's not like it used to be. But I know a lot of young folks that keep themselves glued to their cell phones are actually worse off than we are. But let's go ahead and talk about that. Okay, so I found an article, and it's a really good article right here during our research. 12 safety tips for driving at night. We're going to have a change. So we're going to, we always lose an hour in the fall back, and you lose an hour, and that means it's going to be darker at night. Earlier in the day, earlier in the afternoon. So it's not just paranoia, okay? Driving at night is actually more dangerous right now. So they say, according to statistics, fatal accidents are 3 times more likely at night compared with the ones in the daytime, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Okay, so the main reason for this, not surprisingly, is that we just can't see as well in the dark. And you see less of the road ahead of you, and you also have less room and time to stop. Some kind of light sometimes, by the way. Some of the lights really need to be tested with the FDA. Can glare too bright at night and can compound the problem, but other factors add to the challenge of driving at night. So here are 12 tips, and I wanted to show you this is what I mean. Driving at night, folks, you should not have your lights on bright if other cars are around. In other words, if someone is ahead of you, you don't need the bright lights. And also, if you are going down the road, somebody's coming from the other way and you see them, you need to dim your lights. That can absolutely cause a lot of issues, can cause an accident big time, because if you're glaring lights there or somebody like that, they could run into a ditch, and it would all be because you didn't dim your lights. Okay, number 1, be extra defensive. Let's see what they mean about that. Drinking and driving poses a bigger risk after dark, according to the National Safety Council, which has found that the rate of fatal crashes involving alcohol impairment is almost 4 times higher at night than during the day. Of course, never get behind the wheel after drinking. Please don't. The life you save may be mine, quoting James Dean right there. No matter what time of the day it is, don't drive while distracted either. But at night, it's a good idea to put your defensive driving instincts on high alert. And I'm not the type person who just reports people or anything like that, but I was driving down the road a few years ago and heading on my way to an appointment to talk with one of my sponsors. And it was early in the morning, and it was always best for me the earlier the better, because he would get like extremely busy, and then I would be at his place for hours just waiting on him to have time. But when I noticed this guy pulls out in front of me, and I let it go. I thought, well, okay, whatever. You're just in a hurry to get home. But he kept weaving back and forth just like that. He was weaving. And I thought, he's either on something or he's been working all night and he is about to fall asleep at the wheel. So I watched him, and I thought, well, there's not really that much traffic on the road anyway. It's just me and him right now. But he almost pulled out in front of somebody. He almost ran over somebody. And he was going too close to him, and I thought, okay, I got to do my duty. I went on ahead and I called the 911 and told him, I said, the guy, I think he's probably, I don't know that he's distracted from drugs or anything like that. I said, when he pulled out in front of me, and he looked tired at the wheel. And so they came and they stopped him. So I probably saved his life, and I probably saved, I didn't want to be a snitch, but I probably saved his life or the life of some innocent person that he would have run over. He could have survived it, and then he would have hated himself the rest of his life. So if you see something like that happen, please go on ahead. And which leads me to this one right here. Combat fatigue. So drowsy driving crashes are most likely to happen between midnight and 6 a.m. So be aware during these hours that there may be sleepy drivers out there on the road, and keep yourself alert. Have some caffeine, pull over to a safe area and get some rest, or stop for the night. Some drivers have reported other activities that can help, like turning the radio on, not too loudly, rolling down the windows periodically for fresh air, and talking or singing to yourself if you have a good voice. It really doesn't matter. If it's something that keeps you awake, you go for it, okay? Number 3, and this is a good one right here, clean up your view. True. So dirty or damaged windshields can shatter and scatter light and potentially increase the effects of glare. The group also reports, this is the NHTSA, the group also reports that dirty or damaged headlights can decrease your visibility and cast glare onto incoming drivers. So clean your headlights and your windshields on a regular basis. And you can use special cleaning kit for headlights. You can use a solution of dishwashing detergent, and I don't remember the exacts on it, so you'll need to Google that. So dishwashing detergent as well as vinegar and some water, and spritz that on there, and it'll kind of dissolve it off. Or when you go get your car washed, if you're at a big car wash where there are some folks out there, ask them what their thoughts are on that and how you can cut down that glare. But that's extremely important as well. And like this, I've been glared at before when somebody just had bad lights, they didn't clean them. And also be really careful because we're getting into the winter time of the year where we're going to get frost, and make sure, please make sure that you use a scraper to get the frost off of your windshield as well. And let me tell you something else you can do. Just get like an old, I've saved old signs from people who are running for office. They're the perfect thing to put up on your windows, okay? And so, and easy to put on, easy to take off, just real easy. It's just a piece of plastic, and it's not going to adhere. It's not going to do any damage to your car whatsoever. So at night before you go to bed, you're going to get up early in the morning to go to work. Go ahead and get something, even if it's carpet, old carpet. It's going to be harder to take off, but an old piece of plastic works really well. And just put your windshield wiper on top of it, just to kind of hold it in place. If it's windy outside, you may need to get something else. But anyway, that's a good rule of thumb. Please, because I really do care about you, and I care about your safety and the safety of others. Also, make sure the side windows, if there's frost or whatever on those, you keep those scraped off as well. What Phil generally does, if I have an appointment and I need to go see somebody pretty early in the morning, or maybe the frost is going to kind of hang on that car because it's been so cold outside, he usually goes out there and he cranks my car up for me and has it nice and warm on the inside for me as well. So if you got a hubby that can do that for you, way to go. Okay, number 3. We talked about cleaning up your view. Number 4, avoid 2-lane highways. Let's talk about that for a minute. Okay, so the NHTSA says 2-lane highways may be the worst case scenario for nighttime glare. This is due to oncoming cars, headlights, lower overall light, and the fact that these roads tend to have more sharp curves and hills than a freeway. If you can, take a safer route at night. And also more likely, now I've seen deer out when we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina. I saw deer out on the major highways on 85, so you can't necessarily say it's a safety issue against deer, but look out for oncoming deer as well. That's part of the winter time as well. Okay, number 5, you need to just slow down. Okay, slow down. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm preaching to myself more than you. But NTHSA says 2-lane highways may be the worst case scenario, but also speeding-related crashes account for 37% of nighttime driving fatalities, compared with 21% during the the daytime hours, and this is due to lower visibility and shorter reaction times. For example, your headlight typically shines 160 feet ahead of you, but even at 40 miles per hour, you need 190 feet to stop. So adjust your speed to take conditions like visibility into account. And this is according to Russ Rader of the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the IAHS. Number 6, angle your headlight correctly. So if the beams tilt down too much, you'll lose some of the illumination you need while driving. But if they tilt too high, they can blind oncoming drivers. Some states annually inspection test. Charlotte, North Carolina, we had that, and I'm glad they did that, because I'm noticing more of this since we moved back to Alabama where they don't do this. So they have an annual inspection test. It includes checking the headlight angle. But otherwise, take the initiative to make sure your points are correctly. This isn't usually a do-it-yourself project, says Radar. So consumers should go to the car dealer or a repair facility for assistance. Again, extremely important to do that. Number 7, and let's look at this one right here. We talked about, are you tired? Yeah, we talked about that. Well, let's go to the next one right here. Use high beams when appropriate. So high beams are underutilized, says Rader, but can be very helpful in rural areas or on open roads. Absolutely they can. Just remember to dim them when you're within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle so you don't temporarily blind the other driver. And don't use them if you're following another vehicle. If you're in the market for a new car, Rader recommends looking for adaptive lighting systems that automatically adjust your high beams depending on the presence of other cars. Extremely important. Okay, let's cut to a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a minute. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
My Towels solved the problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made My Towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring-spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all my towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
MyPillow.com.
Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. We're getting that truth out there to you right now. Time has changed. It's going to be darker a little bit earlier in the day. You're going home from work or taking the kids to practice or whatever you're doing. Just be safe out there on the road. You can find us on television, by the way, different ways. All the social media sites, we're in all of them. You can also find us, facebook.com/DThesel. That's one way. You can find us on television channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Check out that podcast, thenewscasters.com. I'm thrilled to be part of this team. I'm going to tell you what, it's a lot of fantastic talk show hosts right there. By the way, if you have an idea for a show you would like for me to handle some research for you, that's what I do. So you can send an email to Donna@DonnasEdge.com. Donna@DonnasEdge.com. We're talking about 12 safety tips, and this is for driving at night. I need to keep you around, okay? You're pretty awesome in my life. So let's talk about those. We'll go ahead and do just a little quick review, just to be extra defensive there, and driving takes a bigger risk. Drinking and driving takes a bigger risk at night. So if you have a friend, you're out with some friends, you're the one who's going to be taking everybody home. Take their keys away from them, okay? Do that. That's a Christian thing to do. But don't drink to begin with, please, okay? That impairment, I need all my facilities that I can get, okay? I'm not going to drink impaired or drive impaired. So just don't do it. Combat fatigue, we talked about that as well. If you're tired, don't get behind the wheel. Phil and I almost made a mistake one time. We were moving, and so we were on the road, and we were both driving. He was driving like this big truck with a bunch of our furniture and stuff in it. And so he pulled over to the side of the road, and I said, "Why are you pulling over to the side?" I was right behind him in my car. And he said, "I'm beginning to see stuff." He said, "I'm tired. We need to find a place to stay." So we did. And so that's just the thing to do. So combat that. Clean up your view. If you've got windows that are fogged over or they're just plain dirty, you need to clean them, okay? Because if you can't see out, that's going to be a disaster just waiting to happen. Avoid the 2-lane highways. If you can, get on a bigger road like I-59 right here in my area. It's going to be a much easier drive to begin with than just going some of our little curvy roads that we have. They're beautiful in the daytime to look at the leaves and all that kind of stuff. But going home, I'm going to take the interstate whenever possible. Plain old slow down, okay, because, and this made a real good, this is a good rule of thumb right here. So for example, your headlight typically shines 160 feet in front of you, but even at 40 miles per hour, you need 190 feet to stop. So adjust your speed to take the conditions like your visibility into account. Please do that. Also, angle your headlights correctly. In North Carolina, we had to have inspection tests on the cars once a year. They didn't charge a lot for it, but it had to be done. And so what I've noticed, moving back from North Carolina, I get blinded by headlights much more than I did in Charlotte, because in Charlotte, your headlights had to be adjusted for people that you were behind and also people you would meet on the road. So that's just a great thing to do. Use high beams when appropriate. That's another one right there. Using those high beams. High beams are underutilized. But again, 50 feet of an oncoming vehicle, you don't make sure you don't typically blind those other drivers out there as well. Okay, so let's take a look right now. Tweak your inside lighting. Good idea. If your dashboard lights are too bright, glancing from the dashboard to the dark road ahead can be disorienting. It most certainly is, says NSC's Epstein. So dim the interior lights at night. That's why when I'm bad to like do work. Okay, so we're driving somewhere, we're on a trip or whatever, and Phil is driving, and I've got my cell phone out, or I have my iPad that's right here, and I'm doing just a little bit of research. That actually glares and it distorts Phil when he's driving. So dim the interior lights at night so that critical controls remain easily visible but not distracting. And use your visors at night to shield you from outdoor street lighting and glare. Yeah, most people don't think about using the visor at night, but that's a grand idea. Many new cars, he adds, have mirrors that automatically dim the reflections from bright light. I think that's an awesome thing as well. Okay, number 9, just look in the right direction. So this is what it means by that. While you should always keep your eyes on the road, avoid a fixed glare and never stare at oncoming headlights. When approaching an oncoming vehicle, avoid being blinded by its headlights by shifting your eyes down and to the right, using the right edge of the road or lane markings as a guide to help you stay on track. So lift your gaze back up when you've passed the oncoming vehicle. You got to think about the people who aren't thinking of anybody but them, okay? And they're going to have they haven't dimmed their lights, and it's going to cause distraction with you. You may hit a ditch. So please do that, just because of the people who don't think of anybody but themselves. Okay, number 10. Watch for wildlife. Wrong one. Wrong one. There's the wildlife. I talked about that first part of the show. Here in the South, well, all over. I've been in New York where there were deer, up in upstate New York. So watch out for wildlife. Collisions with deer often happen at dusk or at night, and they're more common from October to January. So we're in that time frame. Your high beams can help you spot on animals' glowing eyes. When you see them, the safest way to avoid an accident is by slowing down and stopping, not by swerving. Okay, especially if we've had a little bit of ice on the road. Again, I'm keeping up. I got to have you around, okay? You're the apple of my eye. So be really careful. And I'll tell you something else, even during the daytime hours, where we live, going to Lookout Mountain, some of those areas out there, the parks, they keep the deer. The deer are out there. And so watch out also for big dogs, because a lot of them people have dumped them out. Take care of your dog. If you don't take care, if you find an animal shelter for the dog, but some people just dump their dogs out. It may be a big old dog. It's about the size of almost of a deer. So be careful. Just keep looking. You remember my son always said I had eyes in the back of my head. You have to kind of be that way when you're driving these days, okay? Just to be safe. to take care of you and other people out on the road. Okay, number 11, take care of your eyes. This is extremely important. So get your vision checked every year, suggests the NSC. Glare comes more problematic with people as they age and of the young folks who stay on the internet all the time with their phones. You may also need a different prescription at night. So I wear contact lenses. And I started doing that because glasses, I was always losing them. It turned out to be pretty, it cost a lot of money to continually have to get new glasses. So what I do, I have readers that I can use, and I can get those at like the Dollar General or whatever. And so I like to keep glasses. I don't like to wear my contacts at night. I don't know, it seems like I've got the heat blaring in my eyes, and then I've also got air conditioning during the daytime hours when it's hot outside. So I found what works best for me is to take my contacts out. That way my contacts are not going to get hardened. And when they get hard, it just kind of does something to my vision. So I take them out and I just put my cheap glasses on. And I just find that I find I get less glare that way too. So just find you some cheap readers and use those at night. By the way, I can see 10 miles down the road. The problem is I can't see 2 inches in front of my nose, so I have to have reading glasses. That's the only reason I have contacts, is so for reading. Now I got to be able to read when I talk to you in some cases. Okay, number 12, and this is the last one. I better hurry with it. Okay. Test and use your lights. Do a lot of tests on your phone. Regularly test all your lights, including low beams, high beams, daytime running lights, turn signals, and brake lights. And make sure you use your headlights to stay visible. Not only do you need to turn them on when it's dark, but you should turn them on in adverse weather conditions, like when it's raining, maybe a threat of snow, maybe it's hailing outside. Our lights stay on all the time, just in case something like that were to happen. I really do enjoy sharing ideas with you, and I do appreciate your sending emails to me as well. But I wanted to talk to you before we leave. One more thing. Heads up, are you driving drowsy? So let's pull this up. And so I saw this a little bit earlier. I have just about 2 minutes. I have about 2 minutes left in this segment. So 6 ways that you can stay alert on the road and keep safe. You make sure you got sufficient sleep. So the National Sleep Foundation recommends getting between 7 and 9 hours of sleep per night. Stay engaged. Okay, chat with your passengers or sing along to some tunes before driving. Pick a playlist or podcast that's going to rev you up. I like to listen to my 70s stuff. That's going to keep me rocking. So if you're taking on the phone, use hands-free. That's another thing. I don't even like holding the phone anyway. So I have my Bluetooth. I don't have it in here, but I have my Bluetooth I like to use. Somebody calls me when I'm on the road. It's just a little quick, like there, the side of the little Bluetooth. And so that way I can talk to somebody if I want to without having to hold the phone and keep both hands on the road, and it's just more convenient. Pair up. When driving long distances, take turns behind the wheel. That allows you to rest without putting your trip on pause. Get some air. Roll down those windows. We talked about that a few minutes ago for a blast of fresh air. And consider looking for a safe place to pull over just to take a 20-minute nap. A safe place to pull over. And if you're on the highway, the stimulated sounds of the rushing wind can also help keep you alert. Catch up on your reading. Audiobooks can help keep your attention. Try an app or a local library for audio titles before you go. Take a break, okay? I want you to get out there and I want you to take a break, get a stretch, use the restroom, or take a snack every 100 miles or every 2 hours. Try not to drive straight through. Thank you so much for watching The Edge. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth does matter. You can find us on television, channel 182, on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You stay safe out there, okay? I like having you around.